Howdy everyone. Alright, so the original idea that I had just talked about, using paper and tracing the shape of the vent from the skin and then transferring it onto this, completely abandoned that. That was a bad idea. The first thing that I did was looking at the vent itself. I am not going to rivet this in place other than a couple of rivets to hold it in place while the sealant dries. I don't see a need to rivet around the perimeter. Considering that, just looking at the vent, I kind of decided where I wanted to put those two holes. Once I had that decided, I came over to the skin, and with the vent kind of held in place, I decided where I wanted to put the holes in the skin that would end up being roughly where I needed the holes on this vent. So by doing that, I just came up with very simply on the skin of the airplane. Get my head out of the way. Measuring from this back edge of the hole, I measured from the back edge forward an inch, from both corners, forward an inch. And then, again, for edge spacing and considering where I wanted the hole to end up on the flange of the plastic piece, I came down, what was it? I think it's 5/16. So just over 1/4 inch down and up away from the edge. I drilled a hole, a very, very small hole. And then at that point, I brought the vent over and I did nothing more than hold it in place with my hand and moved it around and decided exactly where I wanted to put it after moving it around, trying to match as best I could the contour of the shape in the skin to the interior contour of this. That's basically how I did it. So just holding it in place and moving it around so I got it where I needed it, where I felt it fit the best. While I held it in place, I went ahead and marked through the skin onto the plastic. I just marked both of those holes that I had just drilled using a Sharpie. Then it was just a matter of drilling the holes into the plastic, coming back, and then match drilling it as an assembly to the skin. I'm using the number 3 size rivets. That's diameter, the small number 3s, the flatheads, because this will be countersunk. So on the other side of the airplane, you can see what I've done. Just 2 simple holes to hold it in place while the sealant dries. So now these are done, and the fit is very nice. I'm happy with that. At this point, I'm going to deburr the holes. I'll deburr the plastic, and then I'm going to mix up some fuel tank sealant. I'll have to scuff the back side of the skin. I'll have to scuff the back side around the perimeter for the sealant. I'll probably scuff the plastic as well for the sealant. Put the sealant on. I can Cleco them back in place. I may go ahead and rivet, but anyway, these will have to be dimpled, and then the plastic will have to be countersunk for those dimples. After I get all that done, mix up the fuel tank sealant, seal it, clean it, possibly rivet it. When I rivet, I'm going to put probably a couple of washers on the back side of the rivets so they don't crack the plastic. And then I may end up putting some clamps on it as well, just to make sure that down in this area it seals really well, because it's quite a bit of ways from the hole. So that's the plan. All right, at least that's how I'm going to do it. We'll see how it turns out. Howdy everyone. All right, so here it is. This is the finished product. You can see I've got the plastic vent now fuel tank sealed to the skin. I've got it cleaned up nicely around the edge. And all I had done to help hold it in place, this is just a regular yardstick that seemed to fit perfectly between the two vents on the forward edge. And then I just cut a piece of wood to the right length to get it to fit inside the vent there, and also inside the vent on this side here to hold, just to help hold these up against the skin while the fuel tank sealant dries. And again, I just put two rivets in, just basically to help align it. They're not structural. They're basically nothing more than a alignment tool. You can see another couple here. That's it. The rest of it's just going to be held on with fuel tank sealant. This is sat overnight, but it's cold out here in the shop, so I'm going to let this sit another night at least. So in the meantime, I'm going to go back to this top structure. I'm going to start deburring and edge finishing and dimpling, and I'm going to rivet what I can together of that. And then when I get these out of the way, I'll probably put that all back into place temporarily with Clecos. And then I'm going to start fitting the canopy frame. It's kind of where I'm headed because, like I said, I don't have wires and I don't have coax cable to do much more inside here. So I think in the meantime, I'll go back to this structure and the canopy.